welcome everybody back to the Insider Galaxy podcast. I'm your host, Eric Hernandez. As always, Happy New Year to everybody. We got another episode of the first episode of 2024. We got some things to talk about. We got some moves that have happened, some trades, some free agency, some good trades, some, trades that we weren't so happy about. Obviously, if you've been living under a rock, you know which one I'm talking about, but we're going to discuss about those trades, some more rumors, as well as just some extra Galaxy news, what we want to see now that we're in January with preseason around the corner. We're going to talk about things like that. So yeah, now is the time where we might get to see some movement. We've seen some movement already, but yeah, we got some things to talk about, and it should be a good conversation overall. But yeah, let's get started. And also with me, as always, is my co-host, LA Galaxy Central. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. There's not too much going on right now, which is nice. And yeah, we had the holidays, Christmas, the New Year's. I spent some time on the East Coast, so that was really nice, but I'm glad to be back. And yeah, you said it yourself, preseason is just around the corner, and we're going to get into it soon.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, happy holidays to you. Hopefully you had a good trip out there in the East Coast and, you spent good time with your family. I know I did, had some good time with the fam, with the nephew, taking him to some places and things like that. But overall, good holidays, a little burnt out from them. But you know what? That's just how January is. Everybody's burnt out from just everything. But yeah, but like we said, preseason is around the corner. From last episode, there have been some moves that we have done, which we'll talk about some of them right now, I guess. Starting off first, we did have a trade. We traded for defender Johnny Nelson from St. Louis SC. I believe he's 26 years old. He's not too old in the aspect of it, which is something that... was it free agency? I could have sworn it was a trade.
Yeah, I think it was a free agent signing.
Oh, well, point is, we did get someone from that St. Louis squad, whether it was a trade or free agency. And yeah, so Johnny Nelson comes in here, like I said, defender, 26, not too old, which is something that I guess an emphasis on this new Galaxy way, I guess, that Will Kuntz is trying to get is not old players. But anyways, yeah, Johnny Nelson joins in. That was the first signing or first I guess move that we had since our last episode. And yeah, let's start off with that one. For me, I don't think that was a bad one. Of course, it is some depth in the left back position because I believe he's a left back. So we get some depth in there since trading Raheem, and now that Auda is going to be the starter, you're going to have somebody behind him who is a veteran in MLS. Like I said, played with St. Louis, believe had some time in Cincinnati. Was I think also part of he was part of an academy. I don't remember which one, but he was part of an MLS academy as well. But so Dallas, yeah, we get Johnny FC Dallas. There you go. And yeah, so we get Johnny Nelson here. And yeah, what are your thoughts about that one? What's your thoughts about that? That signing.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited about the signing because Nelson has been on a lot of good MLS teams before. Like, he was on St. Louis last year, who was the top seed in the conference. He was on Cincinnati the year before, who made the playoffs. He was on FC Dallas a long time, and they were a really good team. And I think it's a good signing. I think he's going to be better than Raheem Edwards. I think he fits our system a little better. I like the age. I like the potential. I think, you have chemistry with Edwin Cedillo, too, who also came from FC Dallas, so that's good. I think it's a great signing overall for a depth piece, but after all, it is just a depth piece. It's not going to be a starting player on our team probably unless Auda really struggles, but I still think it's a really good move, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for sure. When I saw this, I thought it was a good depth piece, right? I mean, that's what we're thinking, right? It's going to be a depth piece, and like I said, the veteran ship of him that he has, he's been on other MLS teams, good MLS teams as well. So yeah, I mean, I like the signing. That when that one happened, it wasn't, I don't think anybody was too mad about that one. We understood that that was something that we needed to address since Raheem was traded, and like you said, I think it could be a better fit now that Raheem's gone, a better fit for us in the system. And like you said, I don't think Auda is really going to have, any struggles, but if he does have some struggles, putting in someone like Nelson would not be a bad fit, in case that those struggles happen. And regardless, even just for other competitions, right, for US Open, Leagues Cup, whatever the case may be, that is a good signing for the Galaxy. And it's a piece that we need to address for sure. Honestly, I have no other notes for that one, unless you had any other things you wanted to say about Johnny Nelson.
No, that's pretty much it. It should be a good depth piece, and hopefully he does well.
All right, definitely for sure. Now let's get on to another move that we had. This was a free agent signing, which did cost a little controversy within the Galaxy community. We did end up signing goalkeeper John McCarthy, um, from LAFC. Was, like I said, was a free agent. This one caused a little bit of controversy, considering this guy, helped LAFC get their MLS Cup a couple years ago or a couple seasons ago, and now it's like, a lot of people were just kind of like, why are we getting players from LAFC? He is the third player to now play both for LAFC and the Galaxy. The other two were Nico Hamalainen and Raheem Edwards. So yeah, this one caused a little bit of controversy. I know for you, you had some opinions about this signing when this happened. But yeah, we signed John McCarthy, 31 years old, goalkeeper. What do you think about it? What are your thoughts about that one?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on it. I think we can just break it down throughout this whole segment. It's kind of hard to say it all right now, but yeah, it's a very strange signing right now. It doesn't make any sense considering Jonathan Bond is still on the roster. People are saying he might get traded, he might get moved. I mean, I don't really know, but either way, I feel like it's kind of a weird situation either way because if you bring in John McCarthy, have him as your backup keeper, that's fine, but then that would mean you're probably making Mikovic the number one if Bond gets sent off somewhere else. And, having Mikovic as the number one, like, sure, he has good potential, but is he really ready for that? I don't know. Or if you have McCarthy as the number one goalkeeper, like, look, he had a good shootout for LAFC a couple years ago, but. He does have some moments where he makes a lot of mistakes and he is kind of an aging player, so I don't think you want him to be your number one goalkeeper. Or if you have Jonathan Bond as your number one and McCarthy as number two, then Mikovic's development just goes down the drain, and I think he's too good for Galaxy too. So just right now, it's just kind of weird. I don't know how it's going to work out. It just feels like no matter what direction we're looking in, the goalkeeper situation is very strange at the moment. And yeah, I do agree with signing in from LAFC. That's just not a very good look. It's been three players we signed from LAFC. They haven't signed any players from the Galaxy yet. So, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that either, considering he was an important part of their team. But he's here. I guess Wilkins had connections to him, and we're going to have him on the team now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, a lot of controversy considering that signing. Of course, LAFC fans, at least from what I saw, were pretty disappointed that he came to us. Yeah, there were also some LAFC fans who, said, "Oh, you got the leftovers," which I did have to hear that from my cousin during the holidays since he's an LAFC fan. But there was some things to it. But yeah, McCarthy's just interesting because, like you mentioned, you don't know what you can. It can go whichever way, right? Like whether we ship out Bond or he becomes a starter, or what does this mean for Mikovic? There's a lot of different scenarios to how this plays out. But I mean, the way I see it, it's just going to be a goalkeeper battle this preseason. Like that's literally what it's trending towards. Like I don't think out of the three that we have, there's not a solidified starter yet. Yeah, maybe Bond, just considering that he's been here for a while, but considering what he did his performance last season, that's kind of hanging out there. So to me, it just seems like this is going to be a big goalkeeper battle. I think this puts more pressure on Bond, considering now that you have someone like McCarthy, who is a veteran in this league, a guy who, did come clutch for LAFC in that final. And I think this just adds more pressure to Bond. And I think now it's the matter of how Bond responds to that pressure, right? Of course, last year he did get some fan pressure, and I don't think he took that well. But now that you have, an infield pressure, I guess you can say, that does change the whole dynamic for Bond, right? Like how he deals with that pressure, and I don't know if it's a good thing or not because again, like you said, it's just you don't know how this is gonna go. Like, does he get traded or who becomes a starter at that point? I don't know. To me, it's a weird signing. I didn't like it through that aspect, but the idea, I guess I can understand what it's leading to, in a
The thing
sense.
is, though, I don't like any of the scenarios, though, for all of the keepers, right? Like, I kind of mentioned them before. All the scenarios just seem like disadvantages to somebody or for the Galaxy as a team.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, because yeah, you're right. I mean, Mikovic, although he does have potential, is he ready? I don't know yet. And of course, to me, I mean, especially for me, like I know goalkeeper was going to be a topic this offseason, but I think it all depends as well on who's your back line, who you bring in as your defenders, and that's just going to ultimately, be the decision maker, right? Too. It's like if any of these goalkeepers have to deal with a back line like we had last year, I no like realistically nobody's going to be successful,
Even
right? I
Manuel
mean,
Neuer
we
wouldn't be
saw that last year.
successful there.
Yeah, I mean, any goalkeeper, wouldn't be successful with that back line. So it's like to me, um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like there's a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different options for this, and I don't know. I don't like it in that aspect. Um, I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes, and how this goalkeeper battle goes. But I don't know. To me, it's just a weird signing overall. Um, but anyways, anything else about McCarthy, or should we move on?
I think that's pretty much it.
All right, then. Let's go with the biggest news. The biggest news that happened right before the new year, which was Tyler Boyd getting traded to Nashville SC. He gets traded for 2 international spots and up to 775,000. Of course, 150 is guaranteed. The rest is based off performance metrics. This was a shocker because we didn't expect Tyler Boyd to get traded. We expected him to be back with the Galaxy. We thought he deserved to be back with the Galaxy, was a fan favorite all around, really displayed what it meant to play for the badge. And yeah, Tyler Boyd is no longer with us, in a sense of that he's not with the Galaxy, of course. I sounded like that, like he died or something. But no, he's no longer with us on the team. He got traded. Yeah, this was a shocker, and I think this really took people by surprise. And yeah, I mean, how do you feel about Tyler Boyd? I mean, this one was a pretty big shocker.
I mean, yeah, just like everybody else, everyone was super surprised by that, including myself. I thought he was going to for sure be back on the team last year. You know, he played in Europe for a little bit of time, struggled a little bit, came to MLS, was playing super well. Honestly, his career is going on the up with the Galaxy. I thought even potentially he could have got back into the U.S. national team picture with the all MLS team squads, but who knows if that's going to happen now. It still can possibly, but I thought the Galaxy was a great situation for him. You know, he played through a torn quad, which, by the way, I don't know how you do that at all. That just seems impossible to play through a torn quad and a broken hand. He was playing through us, trying to drag our terrible roster to wins every single week. And, you know, it wasn't successful in that, but, like, who was at the same time? But, yeah, like you said, he deserved to come back. We wanted to see him come back. And the fact that he got traded just leaves a lot of question marks too. He's a great starting caliber player, not on a DP deal. And, you know, it begs the question, like, why did we trade for Diego Fagundes in the summertime? He's making 900K. His value is going down right now. He's not playing very well last season. I don't know why we traded for him if you knew you had to pay Tyler Boyd anyways. But yeah, it's a super disappointing trade. It's a player we all loved here, and I hope he does well in Nashville with Mukhtar, Zimmerman, those guys. I hope he finds success there like he found here.
Oh, I mean, definitely for sure he's going to have success in Nashville. I mean, considering the fact that, last season, even though I guess Costa did play well, but he's not the caliber of like Hani Mukhtar was, right? Like, I mean, Hani Mukhtar's a proven guy in MLS, MVP, Golden Boot. Like, he's done everything. And the fact that, he gets to play, with Tyler Boyd as well, and Tyler Boyd coming off a really good season, I think that just makes Nashville, you know, a much better team. And honestly, like, yeah, I wish him the best of luck in Nashville. But yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of questions to this trade. How did this happen? Why did this happen? And the honest answer is we don't know. We can only speculate. But I mean, considering the fact that it did happen a couple days before the new year, I mean, I guess technically speaking, that just, Tyler Boyd's contract with the Galaxy ended on the last day of the year, right? So I don't know if necessarily, what happened in the negotiations. Maybe Tyler Boyd was asking too much, right? And the Galaxy didn't want to do it. I mean, who knows what he was asking for? Maybe Nashville just came in with a really good deal, with what we got, right? And maybe you didn't want him to walk in free agency and things like that, right? There's a lot of different perspectives on what Tyler Boyd, or what happened with the negotiations with Tyler Boyd. So it was more kind of like, do you want him to walk on free agency and not get anything in return, or do you want to get something in free agency, or whatever the case may be,
I
right?
mean, what I would say though
So
is
to me,
outside of a deep. Sorry, can I go?
no, go ahead.
What I would say about that though is outside of a DP contract, what is too much though? Because I think he's more than deserving of a max contract player. Is he asking for a DP spot? Because other than that, I think he should have easily been paid, especially with what you see how other players on this team in the past and now are getting paid to not be as productive.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't know, right? What if he did ask for a DP spot? Then out of the two, now you waste one on Tyler Boyd,
I
which,
wouldn't do that
maybe you could
honestly.
make. I mean, you could. I mean, I wouldn't either, but you could make the argument saying that maybe he did deserve one, maybe he didn't. Who knows, right? But it really just was of, what those negotiations were. And again, if let's say the Galaxy were decided on they didn't want to bring Tyler Boyd back, right? Maybe that's why they made the trade, because you got something out of return, and you did get a good return, right? You got two international spots, one for this year, one for next year, and then you could get a good amount of money. I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we only got 150, like that's nothing." Well, yeah, but there's a lot of performance metrics to that, and considering the fact that the performance metric money is like a lot, I'm assuming the Galaxy will get most of that back, depending on the metrics, of course. But like it really just depends on what it was, right? Like if they weren't going to bring him back and that was decided, then I mean, I guess you had to get something in return. That's the only way I see why they did this trade and why you know, they did it. But other than that, I mean, he like we said, he was very well deserving to come back, right? I mean, he was one of the few players who really did play for the badge, cared about this club, and really tried, despite a lot of the bullshit with early on with the whole Chris Klein thing and just with the injuries and things like that, and him being injured himself, right? So, I mean, he was very well deserving to come back. I really am disappointed that he's not coming back, and I don't know. Like it really did hit people a lot. It hit me pretty hard, the fact that he won't be in a Galaxy uniform. But I don't know. The trade, to me, it just seems, I don't know. To me, it seems like that we did him dirty, regardless of what we got in return. Like even if it was a good return, I just felt like it was dirty. Like we really should have kept him. Like he was well deserved of it. I don't know, but I don't know if you felt the same way. But like to me, he like it was almost a little dirty in a sense.
Doesn't that make you kind of regret the Fagundes trade a little bit though? Because Fagundes, like I said earlier, is on a max TAM deal, and he did not play very well last year. So why did we trade him in the first place? Why did we trade for him? Because now you have that contract on the books when he could have just used his contract to pay Tyler Boyd, who is a lot better, and his value is going up right now because he just had a really good season. So doesn't that make you question the trade a lot now?
Not really, because of the fact that Fagundes did have at least some sort of contribution. I mean, let's not forget, like there was one point where he had like he had like a goal contribution within like five straight games or whatever, and then once the Galaxy just were at a point of no return, that's when he started, playing bad as well. So to me, I don't think trading for Fagundes was a regret. I think it was, still was a good trade because we didn't give up much for him anyways. But I don't know. Like I don't know if letting go of Fagundes would have meant that Tyler Boyd would have stayed. Like I don't know if that really makes a difference. But
Well, they play the same position
what
and they make similar money probably, so that's why I kind of brought it up a little bit.
well, I mean, I guess, but I don't know if that would have really made a difference in my opinion. And I don't know if I regret now making that trade after letting Tyler Boyd go, because again, at the end of the day, you did get money in return. You got something in return. So I guess that really does. I don't know. To me, I don't really correlate either or. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't know. But now that Tyler Boyd's gone, that does leave a little bit of a difference within the roster. Now your wingers are, like we mentioned, Diego Fagundes, who as of right now, if we look at this roster, he's going to be starting, and then your other two options is either Johnny Perez or Gino Vivi. So right now, it really is weird on what we do with our winger situation, considering we thought we had that area of the field set, and now
Not
it doesn't
set,
look
but
like
like
and now it
you
looks
thought
like
you had a guy starting
at
at
least
least.
yeah, exactly. Like you look like you had some at least decent depth and two guys starting. All you needed was maybe another caliber player now. But now you got to get a start, maybe even two starting caliber, players in that position, and one of them's going to be a DP, one of them maybe another high contractor, maybe whatever the case may be. But yeah, it is going to be interesting on you know what they do with that position. Of course, we did hear some rumors on that position and other rumors as well, which I guess we could transition into those rumors if you want to talk about those now.
Well, one more thing to add about Boyd though. Didn't he mention in an Instagram caption that like he's going to a place now where he felt respected or something along those lines? I think so. I'm just wondering now, did something happen with the Galaxy and Will Coons, like similar to Billy Sharp? Did then the negotiations go bad? Did they go downhill quickly? I mean, I don't know what happened, if we'll go in an interview say something, but it sounds like something kind of went down and it didn't end in the best way possible, or in a very good way, just by saying that.
I don't think he said, or I could look it up, but if
Yeah, just
that
look
was
real
the
quick,
case, I
actually.
mean, yeah, I'll just look it up real quick. In that post because it was a pretty emotional post for Tyler Boyd. I mean, considering the fact, another thing as well is that the Galaxy was his essentially like his favorite team growing up, or at
They
least his
were.
favorite team in MLS, right? So it's like that's another reason why I say that we did him so dirty. It's like he really did care for being here. He really did care for staying in here. I guess I don't know if I want to read the whole caption. I guess we could, in a
It's
sense.
pretty
But this is
long,
what
but
Tyler Boyd. It's kind of long, but I'll try to try to make it quick as possible. This is what Tyler Boyd posted on Instagram, on social media. He says, "I promise you, I never took a single moment for granted while wearing this shirt. I played through a broken hand and a torn quad because I love this club and I have since I was a kid. A big thank you to the coaching staff, teammates, and every worker at the club for everything you did for me. To the fans, I can thank you enough for making my time here special and for making a dream come true. You guys always supported me through thick and thin. I want to make it very clear that I didn't ask for the world, just to be valued and respected, and I'm excited for the next chapter where that will be the case. God bless. Once a G, always a G." So that
he
was
did
his
kind of say
statement,
that.
or his yeah. So he did kind of say that, which again, like I said, um, what I said earlier, it's like with these negotiations, maybe Tyler Boyd was asking more than what we thought that he was going to be willing to take. Maybe he did want a DP spot. Maybe he wanted whatever the case may be. And that's why the Galaxy made this move and made this trade. Like I said, to get some value instead of him walking in free agency, because I think that would, in a sense, I think that would hurt even more for Galaxy fans is that if you don't bring Tyler Boyd, but also let him walk in free agency, because then that means you got nothing in return, right? So I mean, in that aspect of this trade, that was good, but still, in the sense, it sucks because this guy deserved to stay. So that's the only reason why I see this, how I saw this trade happening, was just that they just couldn't come to a deal, and the Galaxy just wanted to get some value while they could.
Yeah, it's
So
true. But I'm still going to go back to that point one more time, though. You're talking about value right there. Unless Tyler Boyd was asking for a DP contract, which we don't know at all, like you could have just paid him Diego Fagundes' contract and never paid him in the first place or took on his contract. You could have paid him that like 900K. Kept Tyler Boyd, who I'd much rather have over Fagundes right now. But I mean, Fagundes is still here. He still can be maybe a solid player for us. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's just super disappointing overall. And I feel like it was preventable in a sense, but who knows what he asked for.
yeah, exactly. We don't know unless Tyler Boyd says what it was. Again, um, the negotiations just probably weren't there. Of course, Will Kuntz is running this stuff. This isn't Greg Vanny, so again, maybe just that connection wasn't there. Um, but another point of view as well, you can take it, with Tyler Boyd. I mean, we talked about this last episode with Caleb with the Columbus Crew when they, um, you know, when they released Zella Ryan, and then they, who, and then they went on to go win for a championship, right? I told him, like, that's a tough decision to make, but if you make those decisions, that could be the difference between, maybe winning a championship or not. I mean, when you think about it that way, right? So, not saying that getting rid of Tyler Boyd is a championship move, but I'm saying, we look at this now as a bad thing, but you never know what happens with the rest of it. Maybe we have something different. Maybe something works even better for us. So you just never know. I
One
mean,
more thing
if you
though.
want to look at it that way, go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of getting rid of players, this offseason we offloaded a lot of players, which I did want to see, after you have a really bad season like we did, you want to get rid of a lot of players. A lot of guys were out of contract. You didn't really care to bring them back. But if you are going to offload all these players, like some of our better players too, like Tyler Boyd, Billy Sharp, like those guys are really good for us. But then you still keep Chris Mavinga and Zavaleta on the roster. It's like, okay, what are you doing exactly? Are you going to overhaul the roster and get rid of some of the pieces that might not be good for you going forward, or are you going to keep them here? Because you got rid of a lot of pieces, and a lot of those I think were deserving to leave. Maybe a few weren't, but like you still have two pieces that I think are not great members of this team, at least at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Those two keep catching strays. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, and they'll
It's
probably
hard
keep
not to
catching
though.
strays if, yeah. I mean, they're gonna keep catching strays. With every move that the Galaxy makes. So, I mean, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you still have these two guys who don't really contribute at all, and then now you see someone like Tyler Boyd, someone like Billy Sharp, who contributed to the team and also like I said, played for the badge. So it's like, it just seems pretty disappointing to see guys who actually do care about the team. I'm not saying that Zavaleta and Mavinga don't care about the team, but I'm just saying like you look at guys who actually show that they care about the team, and then you let them go, and then you keep these guys like that, right? So
And they're
that
productive too.
that's
That's the thing.
also
That's a difference too. They're productive.
yeah, exactly. Like they're productive, right? So it's like they're productive, they care about being here, and you just let them go. So it's disappointing all around. But again, we hope Tyler Boyd, the best in Nashville. Hopefully he, balls out, and we will be seeing him this season. I believe it's week 3 where we go to Nashville, up there in Geodis Park. So we will be seeing him again. Everybody's already saying that he's going to score a hat trick on us, and that's his revenge game or whatever. But we'll see. But yeah, I mean, for Tyler Boyd, of course, best of luck in Nashville, and hopefully he has all the success. And yeah, you got any other points you want to talk about before we move on?
I will say from the Galaxy perspective, I think it is good they trade into an Eastern Conference team and not a Western Conference team because you're not really making your own conference stronger in your competition. So that's at least good if you're going to do business like that. And you got international spots back.
Yeah. So I mean, again, the return wasn't bad. I mean, I think it's just him leaving is just the worst
It
part
was,
about it.
yeah.
But yeah. But again, wish him the best of luck. Let's talk about some rumors because there were a couple rumors that came out. Before we get to, well, I guess we could just start off with this one. Of course, there was an offer. The Galaxy offered River Plate for Pablo Solari, for 10 million. That was ultimately declined by River Plate. They wanted more money. Another young Argentine winger, in the rumor circle. Of course, I don't know if that's going to be likely, but again, we saw earlier, or at least last month, we saw with Sosa, young winger in the Argentinian league in South America. And then now we see Pablo Solari with this one as well. So at least you're hopeful with the Galaxy going with the right direction of trying to sign younger players and, young players that can be, productive for us, right? But of course, we don't know if this is going to happen. It's, difficult, and we haven't heard anything else since. But when you heard that rumor, how'd you feel about that one? I know you are a River Plate fan, or you like River Plate, so how'd you feel about that one?
I was about to say
Yeah.
actually, like it's funny how everyone says he's a winger, and I watch a lot of River Plate games. He's more of a second striker actually. He usually comes off the bench and replaces our starting striker, and he doesn't really play winger that often. He can play winger. He is a pretty good winger, but he's more of actually a second striker or a center forward. I don't know why everyone's saying he's a winger, but yeah, back to the player himself. He's a really good player. He's very young, very promising. Obviously, he plays at a massive club right now. He's doing really well too. I think his value is only going up, and yeah, River Plate all right. Honestly, 10 million is not enough for him. The Galaxy are gonna have to offer a lot more significantly if they want to try to get that deal done. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna come to MLS. I think if he is gonna make a move, it's gonna be to Europe probably. He has a lot of offers from there too. River Plate gets a lot of coverage. They have a lot of teams around Europe interested in their players. Like you saw from Man City, they got Julian Alvarez, and obviously he's a world class player, World Cup winner right now. So River Plate are on the market. People know who Solari is, and I don't think the Galaxy are going to get him. But it's worth a try. But I just don't think it's going to happen at all. But I would like for it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when again, at least you're hopeful with the Galaxy with these rumors saying like, hey, they're trying to go big on these players, and yeah, although I don't think this might happen considering the fact that yeah, it's going to be a lot of money to get him over here, and honestly, yeah, I mean, other European teams were interested, so it wouldn't be a surprise if he values that, to go to Europe instead, and yeah, I mean, it is tough to get players from teams like River Plate from the big South American clubs. In all honesty, it's kind of hard to get some of those players. I mean,
I mean, Pavone took
uh,
forever for us.
yeah, I mean, yeah, he took forever for us. Caligari was on loan, wasn't even, Fluminense is one of a big club in Brazil. So, like, I mean, when you look at Caligari, that was only a loan. So it's like we'd even buy him. And it's just like, yeah, it's kind of tough getting players from those top South American teams. But, I mean, I don't know. At least you're hopeful with these rumors, right? Like, at least, maybe we don't get a Pablo Solari, but we can find some, young player from South America, or not even just South America, but just in general, just a young player like a caliber of that. At least you're hopeful for that, right?
Well, there's two things that are good, and that what I would say. One, it's good that the Galaxy are actually spending money. You know, they're willing to spend. They put 10 million for Sosa. They put 10 million for Solar. So the money's there. They're willing to spend it, and they're trying to get these younger players. And you know, we've heard early in the offseason, we heard a lot of fake rumors about these guys like Lacazette and I don't know who else, Morata, guys like that were not very realistic. Now you're starting to hear some of the more realistic names that are being reported that actually they do have interest in. So you like the DPS they're getting, but you know, it goes back to the point eventually you can only be interested so many times, but eventually you need to get a deal over the line and get a player in. And with preseason being in about 3.5 weeks, you know, I'm not saying they're going to be here for our first preseason game, not that they have to be, but eventually, like before we play Inter Miami, you would like to see, you know, a player or two in here that can help contribute to our roster already. So hopefully we can sign somebody soon and we got to see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I mean, January is where it starts to pick up. Maybe a little more towards the end of January, but this is the time where it starts to pick up.
We wanted to at
But
least.
hopefully, yeah, I mean, yeah, we wanted to because considering the Galaxy last year for our winter window, we took forever when it came to our signings, right? So we're also hoping that that's a difference this year. So yeah, I mean, of course, I mean it is like you said, we can only be interested so much. I mean, we have to make the move at some point, whether it's for these players or for other players, because now other teams in the league are starting to make some moves. I mean, you saw today FC Cincinnati getting Miles Robinson. Colorado got a really good player as well. So it's like you're starting to see some teams make some big moves now, and now it's time for the Galaxy to start getting into that conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, so we'll see what happens there. There was also another report. This one was fake because or was most likely fake considering the day was like an April, because I think the day was kind of like April Fool's Day, but for a lot of Latin American countries. Supposedly the Galaxy were interested in Romel Kyoto, who last played with Montreal, I believe. Had a good season with Montreal last time he played, or his full season. But it doesn't seem likely that that was going to happen considering the day that rumor happened. But if it was real, how'd you feel about that one? What were your thoughts, I guess,
I
for
mean, it's
that
kind
one?
of a weird prank too, because like, why would they prank the Galaxy, and why would they just put that player specifically there? I just think that's kind of a weird prank. But yeah, if it
It,
was
it,
a
it
prank, I don't know. What are you gonna say? Sorry.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say it didn't even seem like a prank because it did seem like a logical
Yeah,
rumor.
yeah.
Like it like I don't know why it was fake. I don't know, but yeah, my bad. Continue if you had some more points, but
Yeah, I didn't really have that much more to say. I think it would have been, if it was to happen, a good signing. I think it would have been a good Michael Barnes replacement. He can play on the week. He can play striker. He can kind of play in different areas of the field. He's a good attacker when he's fit. He does get injured a lot, and kind of like Douglas Costa, he is kind of a hot head. He gets suspended a lot of too, and yeah. But if he's not on a DP deal, if he's just on like a decent TAM deal, you know, you can kind of put up with that with the injuries and some suspensions. But he is a good player. He does contribute a lot, but yeah, I don't think he's gonna come on the Galaxy. We haven't really heard anything since, so I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen.
yeah, I mean that was just kind of a false report, if anything. Again, it didn't feel like a false report whenever that happened, but I guess it was considering it was the Latin American April Fool's Day that day. Dia de los Inocentes is what it's called, but yeah, I mean I don't know whatever. I mean I don't think it's just gonna happen. It's just probably a fake rumor. There was another rumor also that I forgot to write down. Was that the Galaxy were interested in Benedetto. I don't think that one's going to
Oh
happen
gosh.
either. I mean, of course, but yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't really like that rumor. Of course, Benedetto was in that conversation. I mean, if we were talking about Benedetto from maybe like a few years ago, or maybe even like maybe 4 years ago, I think that would have been a good signing. But we're talking Benedetto now. I mean, I don't think that's a good one. But of course, that one did get thrown out there. What were your thoughts about that being a possibility as well?
Yeah, obviously, as a River Plate fan, I do not like him at all. I don't think he's very good, and yeah, especially right now, he's getting older now too. He's not playing very well, and yeah, I don't want him on my team at all. And there's a lot of MLS clubs reportedly interested in him, but yeah, I don't want to be the one to get him. Just stay away from my club.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had the same opinions about that one. I know Benedetto also played for America, so it's like I didn't really, I didn't like him when he was on
Yeah.
America. He was good. He was good with them, but I didn't like him. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That one doesn't seem likely either, but that was also another name that floated around within the Galaxy, I guess, sphere of the off season. But yeah, I think that was basically all the rumors that we had for
We
the
have one more
Galaxy,
that
unless
was
I'm
huge,
missing
but
any other one.
one more.
What
Remember
was the other one?
Paulinho, the Brazilian striker, the 23-year-old? He rejected to move to the Galaxy, unfortunately, which would have been a massive signing. It would have been insane. But
Ah,
I understand why he rejected the move. I mean, he's really good, playing really well in the Brazilian league right now. I think almost has as many goals as games played there, and he has a ton of interest from European teams too, kind of similar to Solari, but actually even better. He's going to get a big move to Europe, probably a club in the Premier League or the Champions League. One of those big clubs right there. So yeah, I'm not surprised he rejected a move to the Galaxy. I don't even blame him at all. But yeah, I wish we got that signing, but obviously not very realistic at all. But we got to keep trying. Hopefully, eventually we do get some guy in who's really good.
yeah. I was gonna say I did forget about the Paulinho signing, which yeah didn't seem realistic. And again, we don't blame him. He's gonna go to Europe. I mean, that with how he's been playing. So yeah, I mean, again, good for the Galaxy to try to target these guys, but at the end of the day, like we said, we gotta get somebody in. I mean, I think the Galaxy people are just like anxious on a signing, and not just like a depth signing like the McCarthy's or the Nelsons.
We throw a
Like
party
we
over
want an
McCarthy.
actual signing.
We throw
Yeah,
like a big
yeah. I
party
mean,
over
it's like
McCarthy.
yeah, but I mean, it's like we need we need a big signing. The Galaxy community is anxious for one, and we just gotta wait to see what happens, I guess. But
I mean, I'm
yeah, I mean,
anxious for
again,
one.
good. I mean, yeah, I mean, we're all anxious for one. We want one. We're craving for one, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, of course, good direction from the Galaxy when it comes to these interests or these rumors. But at the end of the day, we got to get somebody in um, for the team.
Honestly, for the Galaxy, though, I think it would be better if they went out of the South American market, they went into the European market, because I feel like there's so much talent in Europe, but there's a lot of players that maybe don't get playing time on their teams, or maybe just are not in a great situation right now that would love to come over to MLS, or try to revive their career. Like Ricky Puig, for example, he was really good in Barcelona, not really getting a lot of playing time, kind of fell out of the organization's plans a little bit. We got him on a great deal, and now he's one of the best players in Major League Soccer. We can try that somewhere else, maybe in Europe. Not even necessarily with a big club, just all around, like top five leagues in Europe. You can find players that are on the bench, maybe got sent down to the second team. Who knows? Maybe didn't even make the team squad. That can be really good assets for this MLS, not only for the MLS but also for the LA Galaxy. And I think that would be just a really good sign to try to make instead of the South American market where it's hard to get players off teams because good prospects on South American teams don't always come around very often. Like, for example, we were trying to get Sosa from Talleres or whatever their club name is. It was very difficult to get him off because they don't have prospects that often. But maybe in Europe, talent comes around a little more often. You can get a really good player for a cheaper price. Maybe they should try exploring that market a little bit more. Or maybe somewhere else like Africa or Asia. I don't know. There's a lot of good players around everywhere. But the South American market, you're right, it is very difficult to get players out of that market for sure.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's a big world out there. There's a lot of different options that the Galaxy can go look for. I mean, of course, we like to see, players from South America, but there's also the European market, like you said, and even just places where you don't expect it, right? Like, I mean, when you look at just other players around the league, it's like, there's some of the best players are from places that we don't even know, right? Or like places that we hardly even know. So it's like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different options for the Galaxy, a lot of different markets they can explore. Of course, they did look into the Asian market with also with Japan and everything like that. So it's like that, they got to explore different places, and they got to find out where that hidden gem is. But we'll see how it goes for sure when it
I just
comes
think
to the
Europe's the
Galaxy
best one
and those
because
rumors.
tactically they're very well understood, and there's just a lot of places in Europe. There's a lot of talent, there's a lot of depth, there's just a lot of everything, a lot of competition. I feel like Europe, you can also get a player for a cheaper price because the club maybe doesn't value them as much because the roster is so deep. Or, for example, like Barcelona, remember their roster is pretty deep too, full of talent, so they kind of let Ricky Puig go easily. Or there could be other clubs in Europe too that just let players go that want them to develop, that even maybe could possibly give a loan with an option to buy. Who knows what could happen? There's many possibilities, but I just feel like the European market is stacked with talent all around because the best players want to play in the best competitions that's there. But if they have an opportunity to be a key guy or a starting player like Ricky Puig is, or maybe somebody else would be if we got somebody from over there, I feel like it's just a really good opportunity and probably at a cheaper price.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, definitely for sure. Europe is always going to be, especially for the winter window, right? Because of course, Europe at this point is moving a lot of things around too, and you can get a lot of good players out of there. So that's why the winter window is always more European based, of course. So it's like, yeah, we can always look into that market, and like you said, there is probably that someone who needs more playing time, or a team that just has way too much good depth, and they're willing to let a player go or whatever the case may be. It's like like it just the Galaxy just got to explore and find the good deal, and we'll see how it goes, and can't pass up on the opportunities on some players, right? Like how they did with Santi Jimenez, which also got
Oh
resurfaced
yeah,
around the internet during
we've seen that
during the
before though. It's
time.
not
Which, but
new.
no, it's not new, but it's just it does hurt a little bit hearing it from DTK in that interview with Hercules Gomez saying that the Galaxy said he wasn't good enough, and
It's crazy.
I wonder who that person was. I really want to know who that person was because I don't know. It just it blows my mind. But you know what? As a Mexico fan, I'm glad where Santi is right now. But still, though, regardless of what regardless of that, Galaxy just got to find their guys and can't pass up on some opportunities. But we'll see how that goes as well.
It's definitely good they're willing to spend though. Like you saw the $10 million offers going around for two guys. If you spend that other money, like even in Europe or still in South America, like eventually, like if you keep trying, you'll probably find a guy eventually, and hopefully it turns out to be really good once we do hopefully find that guy.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, because again, it's not just the matter of spending money; it's the matter of spending money on the right person, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah, it
because
takes time
obviously,
too.
I mean, yeah. Because remember, the last time we spent a good amount of money, that was a European player, that was Kevin Cabral, and look how that turned out, right? So,
I guess
at the end of the
Audrey's
day, it's
kind of
not
too,
about
but
yeah. I mean, it's not about just spending the money; it's about finding the right personnel, I guess, in a sense, because I don't know, but oh boy, we'll see how it goes. For the Galaxy, I mean, we want something soon, but hopefully, you know, something pops up. I don't know, but anyways, so yeah, I guess that was just it for the rumors. You have anything else to say? I don't think we really had any other stuff about rumors as well.
no, just hopefully they can get a guy in soon. We're all excited to see somebody new. We're gonna have some new players next season, but we're excited to see who it is, and hopefully we can find out sometime in the near future.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Hopefully it picks up in the next couple of weeks. Before we go, of course, let's talk a little bit about Galaxy news that we'd want to just to throw out there, just to get some Galaxy conversation in there. We are getting a third kit next year, which is something that's interesting because we saw some teams last year get some third kits. I believe both New York teams got one. Atlanta got one. I'm pretty sure another team got a third kit last year. I don't remember which one it was, but I know those three for sure got one last year.
I know
Um,
Toronto got one, I think.
I believe Toronto was another. That was the other one, right? Yeah, they had like some like purple kit or something, no, or something like that. I could be wrong, but yeah, Toronto was the other team. But yeah, Galaxy getting a third kit this year. Apparently, it has the same colors as the community kit, like the hat I'm wearing, which is why I wore the hat. But apparently, it's going to be the same colors as this. A lot of people were questioning the fact that we had the community kit a couple years ago. Why are we using the same colors? Is this going to be another version of that community kit? I don't know, but yeah, we're getting a third kit this year. Are you you know are you interested in the third kit, or how do you feel about the third kit in general?
No, because the past couple of years they've only worn the white home kit anyway, so I don't know. I don't really have much hope for it. And they probably will barely will ever wear it, so I'm not gonna waste my money in buying it. If they wear it, that's cool once or twice a year, but I just don't really rate it that much.
Yeah, I mean that's true because we always wear the white kit, which we are getting a new white kit this season anyway. So we'll see how that white kit looks. But yeah, I mean I don't know. To me, I just hope they get it. I don't know. It's nice because I at least like the ones that they released last year. Like it was tied to the city. Like I think the Red Bulls had something like hip hop related. NYC had like something to do with like the parks in New York. So it's like it tied with the city. So like I'm just hoping like if they release a third kit for the Galaxy, it's something similar where it's tied into the city and things like that. And I don't know, like hopefully something nice. But like you said, like we only wear the white kit anyway, so it's not like you know unless it's like really good, we'll see how it is. But I mean, we barely even wore the LA kit back there, so it's like, and that's a really nice jersey. So it's like I don't know why. Yeah, so I don't know. But anyways, that was just a little bit of other Galaxy news. But other than that, I really have nothing else to say unless you got some other points before we move on or close it
Yeah,
out.
we
I mean.
got. Well, I got one more point. We have preseason in 3.5 weeks. Our first preseason game against St. Louis. That should be very interesting too, especially considering where our roster's at right now. Which to say it's not great, but we got to see what happens in the future or these next couple of weeks.
Yeah. For sure. Because hopefully it's a productive 3 weeks. If it's not, then I'm definitely gonna have some questions for sure when it comes down to that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how this goes. I mean, I think the team in general reports in probably like before that, right? I think they probably do it in
Yeah,
like a
of
week or
course.
two.
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah,
so the
next week
team,
or two.
yeah, probably. So like the team's gonna definitely start reporting soon. But yeah, I mean, of course, like we said, preseason is around the corner. Now that we're in January, it's it, it's only like another month or two before the season starts. So it's like we're really like right around the corner from the season starting. So yeah, I mean, this is where it picks up. Hopefully, it picks up, and hopefully, we get some guys in the building to help us. So, yeah. But anyways, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. If you want to follow us on social media, go follow me at Insider Galaxy on Instagram, on X. Go follow LA Galaxy Central on Instagram, and yeah. I mean, you have anything else to say to the listeners before we go?
No, that's pretty much it. Hopefully, we get some signings in soon.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Which I will say, I think we did get a little spike in listeners from the last episode and from things like that. So if you are new here, welcome. Of course, hopefully you stick with us for the season. And, of course, like I say, be a friend, tell a friend about this podcast, whenever you're listening to this podcast. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, and hopefully everything, you know, goes good for you this year. So, yeah. But anyways, thank you guys. And G's up.
7 words